Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Hoops All In podcast. I'm your host, Worlds Francois, joined by, as always, my co-host Keith Bazin. Keith, man, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good. We got some unfortunate news to talk about. We're also going to be going over our top 10 point guards currently in this episode, but yeah. Good.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, the unfortunate news. So we'll start there. But before we start, don't forget to follow the show on Instagram at Hoops All In, at Hoops All In on X, and at Hoops All In _ on TikTok. So yeah, we're gonna start with some very breaking news coming out of San Antonio. Their franchise, their all-around superstar player Victor Wembanyama is now out for the season with blood clots in his right shoulder. Just devastating news. He was well on his way to win Defensive Player of the Year, leading the league in blocks at almost 4 blocks a game. But now, since with his injury keeping him out for the rest of the year, he is no longer eligible for that award. Yeah, man, just shocking, devastating news for the San Antonio Spurs fans and the San Antonio Spurs organization. What do you make of Victor Wembanyama being out for the season with blood clots in his right shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, it's awful. Blood clots, can sometimes lead to heart attacks or worse things. So we don't ever want to see that happen. I mean, it's ended careers. Chris Bosh, for example, he was an all-star in his last year before he went through that. Asar Thompson went through it at the end of last season, and he's still now just coming back, getting himself into shape again. So hopefully it's not too bad. They did say it's an isolated condition, which I believe is a good thing.
Mhm.
Um, but even though it is awful for Wemby, his family, his team in that sense, for the Spurs, I don't think it. I mean, yeah, it would be fun to see Wemby in the play-in, right, or pushing for the playoffs if they do get out of the play-in. But I think with them, um, having this, they're going to have another year in the lottery. If Atlanta misses the playoffs, they have their pick completely unprotected, so that'll be another lottery pick for this year, and they'll be able to draft more guys. And what what the Spurs were looking like was going to be was what happened with the Mavericks when they got Luca, right? Luca in that first year where it was his rookie year, Dirk was still on the team for his last year. They missed the playoffs that year, but pretty much every year after that, Luka was good enough to get them in the playoffs. Obviously, not win the ring or be real contenders, but get them in the playoffs. And they couldn't really draft around him. They had the year before, I believe they drafted Dennis Smith Jr. pretty high. He didn't turn out to be much, obviously. They got Jalen Brunson, I think the same draft, but obviously he was good, but nowhere near what he is now. And pretty much all those years up until this Derek Lively pick from 2 drafts ago, they couldn't really draft around him. They couldn't really get pieces. They had to trade for guys that maybe didn't have the value they once had, like Porzingis. They had to let Jalen Brunson walk because he wanted money. They got Kyrie, which has been probably the best addition because they made it to the finals and they've had a little bit of success there with him. But yeah, I think it's good because the Spurs will get more time to put pieces around him and not just be stuck in like a mediocre area. Now they already have De'Aaron Fox, which Luca didn't have, especially this early. But I don't think it's the worst thing for the Spurs, even though it's obviously a horrible thing for Wemby. But when he comes back, they're going to be, I think, a scary team if they get high picks because they're not going to have the best odds by any chance because they're not catching up to Washington or Utah or New Orleans or any of those guys. But they should have 2 lottery picks this year, which obviously is good.
Yeah, when I first heard the news about Wemby having blood in his right shoulder, obviously the first thing you think of is that man's health. He's 21 years old. It's very, very rare for somebody who is in that, peak physical condition, who is a
Yeah.
professional athlete, to have something of that diagnosis. So
Mhm.
hopefully he does get better. Again, prayers, thoughts, and condolences with him. So, but you like you said, it's an isolated incident, so he should be fine. All signs of him returning to the court at full strength next year. But yeah, in
Mhm.
terms of what leads to the San Antonio Spurs team, I mean, they were on the right track. They, I believe they were in the lower seed. They were battling for a playing spot. They just got De'Aaron Fox, which was another cornerstone for the franchise.
Mhm.
Everybody was clicking on all cylinders. Wemby made the All Star. He is a walking superstar in the making, arguably going to be the next face of the league. And so you hate to see stuff like that happen. But yeah,
Mhm.
like you I think this year is just another, rebuild year for the
Mhm.
Spurs. And I believe that they were a year or two ahead of schedule. So now
Yeah.
Victor with Wemby being out, I would just say, you know what, guys, this may not be popular, but let's just tank because as you mentioned,
Right.
they do have the Atlanta Hawks unprotected pick. If they tank, this is a
Mhm.
very, very star-studded and deep draft class. Who knows?
Mhm.
They could mess around and possibly get the number 1 overall pick and maybe Cooper Flag, if he decides to come out of Duke,
Yeah.
or maybe Ace Bailey out of Rutgers, or Ron Harper Jr.'s son, I believe is Dylan Harper. So this is a
Mhm.
very good draft class, but we
Yeah.
see what the future holds. For the Spurs, obviously this year is just get everybody healthy. Chris Paul's going to be there next year. He says he plans to play for the 2 to 3 years, so that's another
Mhm.
year for him to develop Wemby. Him to grow as a player underneath the tutelage of Chris Paul. Another year for those guys to just build and continue to grow that chemistry together as a unit. And I don't even think and speaking of that, Popovich is still out too. So,
Yeah,
no
he
rush
is.
for Popovich to come back because he had a health condition. I believe he had a stroke. So
Yep.
so this is just a wash here for the Spurs. Get everybody
Mhm.
healthy come next year, and they're gonna get ready to roll for the 2025-2026 season.
Yeah, definitely. We can move into our top 10 point guards. I will say for me, the guys, there were some guys I did not add because they either have not reached they will not reach the 65 game mark or they are
Mhm.
already completely missed out. Those guys for me are Luca, LaMelo, Ja, DeJounte Murray, and Emmanuel Quickly. Now, all of them weren't necessarily going to be in my top 10, but those were candidates that did not make it. So, I'll get right into it. Well, I can't believe I'm going to do this. My 11th guy, my honorable mention, and I think point guards is going to
Mm.
be the hardest list we have to do that I
Mhm.
didn't give it to. And because even though his stats are crazy, his shooting splits aren't the best. I have Trey Young as my 11th.
Oh, you got Trey Young as a wow.
Trey Young
Oh,
didn't
I
make
gotta
my
hear
top
this
10, and I
information.
know that's crazy, and I was fighting for him to get in the 10th or ninth spot, but the guys we have above him just they're better now. Trey Young is averaging about 24 points a game, 11 assists, but he is shooting 33% from 3. And his field goal percentage is only he's at 40, like on the dot basically for field goal percentage. And obviously his team isn't the greatest, which is what pretty much the reason that I have him at 11th and not 10th. So do you have an honorable mention that you want to put in, or you just want to get right to 10?
We could just go right to 10. I know we're doing
All right.
honorable
Well,
mention, but yeah,
no,
having
yeah,
Trey
I
Young
did it
outside your
because
top
of
10,
how
that's
stacked the
ballsy.
point guards are. I did it because of how
Yeah, it
stacked
is.
the point
Yeah,
guards are. Not everything is going to have a honorable mention.
that's
But yeah,
true.
all right. My number 10 that I was fighting between was I put James Harden at 10. Um,
Okay. Okay.
James Harden's averaging 21 and a half points per game, almost 6 rebounds,
Mhm.
and about 8.5 assists. He is averaging 4.5 turnovers a game, but that's something that we've pretty much always seen with James Harden. And he has really kept the Clippers afloat. Now they might be dropping a little bit more recently in the standings, but I
Mhm.
mean he's been great, 34% from three. So not his shooting splits are pretty much the same with Trey Young. So if you want Trey Young over Harden, I can't literally can't be mad at it. But I pretty much
Mhm.
gave it to Harden because of the success that the Clippers are having. And to be honest, the teams aren't that. It's not like the Clippers are way better. Kawhi's barely been there this year, and Kawhi and Harden's got a bunch of role players around him too. Now his might be a little better than Trey Young's, but that's who I have at 10.
Okay. Honestly, that's not a bad pick.
Mhm,
James Harden's having a hell of a year this year. He's a
mhm,
reason for the Clippers' sort of resurgence, especially with Kawhi Leonard missing majority of the first half of the season. My
mhm.
number had to go with Darius Garland. out of the Cleveland Cavaliers,
Okay.
21.6 points per game. He's
Mhm.
shooting about what 30%. Oh no, excuse me. He's playing about 30 minutes. He's averaging about
Yeah.
little around 6, 7 a
Mhm.
game around that magnitude. And
Mhm.
he's a stud, man. He's a great player. The Cleveland Cavaliers have the best record in the Eastern Conference right now as we speak, second behind the OKC Thunder for the best record overall. So that's why I had to put, Darius Garland in there again. He could get to the rim, he can attack, he could play a little
Mhm.
bit defense, he's feisty. So I had to put show some love from the people from the land.
Yeah, yeah, and I was really because he's shooting about 43% from 3, which is crazy good, and
Mhm.
he's only doing all that in 30 minutes a game. He's not playing 35, 36, 37 minutes a game like a lot of these guys are, and I don't even know what his per 36 would look like if, he would be at almost 26 and 8 a game, so,
Mm,
yeah,
that's real
that's,
good.
I have him a little higher, but yeah, I mean, I like it, what about your number what you got number 9?
Number 9 is the guy you just mentioned, James Harden, from the
Okay.
Clippers again, resurging here, averaging just like point 0.1 under Darius Garland, 21 and a half. He's playing
Mhm.
about 34 minutes a game. He's averaging about 8.5 assists a game as well. And this guy's what, 34, 35 years old. People
Yeah.
wrote James Harden off. They thought that he was old, he was washed,
Mm,
especially him bouncing from team to team, going,
mhm,
from the Houston to Brooklyn, from Brooklyn to Philly, and now with the Clippers. But he
mm,
has kept that Clipper team afloat, as I mentioned before, with Kawhi Leonard missing majority of the first half of the season. Everybody wrote the Clippers off, but they forgot who their head coach is. And when you
mhm,
buy into Tyronn Lue's system, he gets the best out of his guys, and we're seeing the best out of James Harden. This guy, again, can easily get you 12 assists a night. He's a bucket. He's a go-getter, and he has started to improve his defense a little bit. Not much. Still, still can't guard a chair, but he
yeah.
has he has made for his effort substantially better defense.
Yeah, a real bounce back year. I mean, last year he only averaged 16 and a half, and now he's back up to 21 and a half. He made the All-Star game, obviously. Again, his shooting splits are down from last year for sure, but
Mhm.
he's also doing something different. Paul George isn't there, Westbrook isn't there, Kawhi has barely been there. So yeah. My number 9 is Kyrie. I was
Mm,
debating between him and my 8th spot, but I ultimately had Kyrie here. 24 and a half points a game, about 5 assists and 5 rebounds a game, 1.3 steals, and 41% from 3. He's had a good season. He made the All-Star game again. He replaced his teammate Anthony Davis, as we all know. And he's just like I mean, he's just doing what he normally does. I mean, it's a pretty bland answer, but like Kyrie has always been a great, efficient scorer and shooter. He does what he needs to do, and I think when he does get back, because he has been injured for a little bit, but day to day shoulder injury. But I mean, he's gonna obviously have to take on a lot more of the playmaking with Luca not there. And whenever
mhm.
this team gets fully healthy, because they're missing like their top 7 guys right now,
Yeah.
um, they hopefully, they're probably going to be at the bottom of the play-in because they're going to keep dropping while some teams are going to continue to rise, like the Warriors, I mean, honestly, maybe even the Kings a little, but so yeah, that's my number 9.
Okay. Solid number 9. I'm gonna go number 8. I'm gonna go with Jamal Murray from the Denver Nuggets. Got to show him some love.
Oh,
Averaging
okay.
about 21.3 points per game. He's averaging about 6 assists and 1.4 steals. This guy is a pest in the passing lanes. Will pickpocket your pocket, and also he's a very very clutch player. Watching him over the years, the last 2 3 years, he hit some big key shots, especially the
Mhm.
game winner over the Lakers when they over Anthony Davis in the Lakers series last year. This guy can get it done. Not a lot of people showing him love, but Jamal Murray is definitely a top 10 point guard in today's game. And I believe he hasn't even yet to make an all-star with his numbers. So surprise there, but I'm gonna show Jamal Murray some love from Denver.
Well, we're gonna have some discrepancies because he's not on my list at all. So that means I have someone that you
Really?
don't have, and you have somebody that
Wow.
I don't have.
Mm.
So he's not on my list. My number
Oh.
8 is right. Yeah, number 8 is De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm.
He was who I was fighting between Kyrie and him for that eighth spot. About 24 and a half points a game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, a steal and a half. Um, and he's a little bit better of a defender. I know steals don't mean everything, especially for these guards that get a lot of them a lot of the time. But
Mm-hmm.
Fox gives me a little bit more on the defensive side than what Kyrie gives me. Um, which obviously is just my argument in my list. But even though Kyrie's obviously the better shooter, better scorer, but I also did finish this before the news came out, so he might jump up because he'll get more touches. Who knows what the Spurs will end up doing with the rest of this season, whether they stay around that 11 seed or they maybe drop a little bit more. But yeah, he's in my eighth. And we'll go right into seventh. My seventh, I have Darius Garland here. Pretty underrated. For for what he's doing. Again, only 30 minutes a game. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to say too much because you pretty much went over 21 and a half points a game. The Cavs are, I mean, they're rolling right now. I mean, it's between them and Boston for whoever's coming out the East, probably. Maybe New York or Milwaukee has a little bit of a chance too, but definitely Cleveland and Boston are the main ones up there. And Garland, made his second All Star appearance after having a not so great year last year. So yeah, that's my seventh.
Not bad, not bad. All right, so my seventh, I'm gonna have to go with Cade Cunningham out of the Detroit Pistons.
Oh man,
Huge, huge leap, man. Averaging 25.4 points per game, averaging 9.5 assists. This man is in the running, which I don't know why, because he was a top overall pick, but he's in the running for most improved player of the year. He is taking a huge leap. First time All Star this year. The Detroit Pistons are in playoff contention right now as we speak. Gotta show Cade Cunningham some love. Um, at number was it is my this is number seven, right? Yeah, number seven for
seven.
me.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta showcase some love. So he definitely has cracked the top 10 point guard list, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's gonna get a lot of love from me because I got him a little bit higher than that. But yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Cade's having a great season. I mean, again, the stats have been there. But his team has been awful. He's had no spacing around him. I mean, again, he's
Yeah.
averaging a similar. I mean, obviously they're better. He's about 3 more points, 2 more assists, 2 more rebounds than last year. But I mean, the team is way better. Made his first All Star appearance as well. And yeah, was that your seven or was that your six?
I think that was my seventh. Yeah,
Okay,
that
all
was
right.
number seven for
Um,
me.
all right. So sixth, he's dropped off a little. Not had the greatest season. His team hasn't been and this might be a hot take over my top five, but I have Curry at six this year.
Mm,
Um, he, I mean, he's still almost 40% from three on 11 attempts a game. I believe he's leading the league in free throw percentage. The Warriors are picking it up, right, with Butler now. They've looked better. Um, he's averaging, I believe, around 30 points per game since Butler has been here, and they're 3-1. He's still giving you 23 and a half points a game, 6 assists. But again, I feel like every time I'm looking, like every other game I look at the box score, he either has like 27 or he's got like 14 on horrible
mhm.
shooting. Like he's had a real back and forth year. And I know he's also had a lot of it's impact with him, right? Because of the eyes that he like demands to, the defense that, he's probably one of the hardest players ever to guard because of his constant movement and all that. But I think that there are point guards that have just their teams are doing better and they are doing better individually as well. Will he stay at six? Like, will he be six next year? I'm sure no. He'll probably be doing a little bit better with whatever moves they do. Hopefully they get a big man next year, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's who I have at six.
Okay, okay. Solid, solid. I like that. Number six, I'm gonna go with your guy to San Antonio, Darren Fox. Obviously not gonna, rate what you just mentioned, averaging almost 25 points a game, playing almost six and a half assists. Again, he is a defensive minded point guard. He will pick your pocket. He can get to the
Mhm.
basket. He's fast as hell. He's pretty strong for that slender body. So again, him going to the San Antonio Spurs, getting traded from the Kings to the Spurs, definitely, fast track their improvement by a year, 2 years, because they got a guy who is a legit second all-star, who was the number two option of playing alongside Wemby. So gotta show Fox some love right there.
All right. Yeah. Jump into your fifth.
Number fifth for me. Number five, I gotta go with Dame Time out of the Milwaukee Bucks,
Oh,
man.
okay.
Listen, Mr. Clutch. When it is tight, he's gonna get the basketball in his hands. 25 and a half points per game, 7.5 assists. This
Mhm.
man is a sniper from three. The only knock against Damian Lillard is that he doesn't play defense. If he had a
Mhm.
defensive game like Drew Holiday, like Shea, I think he will be top two.
He would be the
But
best player of the league if he had
well, yeah,
that.
well, because he'll be behind. He'll be behind somebody. I'm not going to spoil it, but he'll
Right.
definitely
Yeah.
be in the top two candidate. But yeah, that's the only knock against Damian Lillard. But again, also he's a little bit older. But when you need a bucket, it's crunch time. I know who I'm putting the basketball to. He is seen as the most clutch player in the game right now as we speak. So Damian Lillard gets that love from me in the top 5 point guard category.
Yeah, he's having a good bounce. I mean, he didn't have the worst year last year, but it definitely wasn't the same Dane that we've been used to. Granted, it was the first year he was
Mhm.
implemented in Milwaukee. He's a little more comfortable now, but yep, he's on my but for five, I have Cade here. I
Oh,
was doing
okay.
some last minute switching between him and four. He was originally my fourth, but I did drop him down to fifth. But yeah, I mean, almost he's averaging almost a double double. He has brought the Pistons. I think they're the sixth seed. At least as of a couple days ago, they were the sixth seed, which means that they would miss the play-in completely. Which, I mean, after losing 30 in a row last year to maybe getting the sixth seed is crazy improvement. And they really sure they added Tobias Harris. They drafted Ron Holland. They got some more Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway, but let's those guys normally aren't changing around a team like this. But when you have a guy like Cade who's so ball dominant and is such a good playmaker too. I mean, he gets those guys open. I mean, we just saw Malik Beasley has made the Detroit Pistons franchise record for threes in a season, and we still got like 30 games left in the year. So he's been hooping, and Cade's really uplifted them. Now he is averaging about 4.5 turnovers, but again, he's really the only ball handler over there, especially with Jaden Ivey being out for the year with his awful injury. But I mean, yeah, almost a steal and a block per game, 6 rebounds, 9.5 assists. I mean, he's had I mean, I didn't expect for the Pistons to be this high at all. So he's my
Yeah.
fifth.
Yeah, definitely like that. Again, Detroit's having a great year. So now I'm gonna go with number four. I made a last minute change.
Okay.
Even though the Golden State Warriors are not having the greatest year,
Hmm.
still got to give it up to a guy who's a four-time NBA champion. I got Steph Curry, number four. Again, not having the greatest year, 23 and a half points per game, 6 assists, but you gotta also remember he is a sniper from three. Outside him and Dame, he is the deadliest shooter in the game. There's a reason why he has the most three-pointers in NBA history. Again, before he wasn't even in my top five, but I made a last-minute switch because I think that Jimmy Butler trade is going to resurgence, is going to give Steph Curry more freedom because remember, without Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green was the only playmaker. And it's like, well, there's no more Clay. Clay is a shell of himself. You could just, double the box and load up on Steph Curry. And one thing about Steph Curry, he takes tremendous care of his body. Like LeBron James, he is always in playoff condition. I believe Steph is like 35, 36, if not going to be 37 soon. And he said he still feel like he is in his prime because he takes tremendous care of his body. That speaks to the longevity. That speaks to his, his popularity in the league. Even though, again, the Warriors as a team are not having a great year, but they're not out the playoffs just yet. I think that he will lead a second half surge with this team and probably be a playing team, but you can never ever disrespect number 30 and the guy who has 4 NBA championships, 2 league MVPs, and a finals MVP as well. Just won the gold medal for Team USA and was the reason in that game against friends that they won with that ridiculous, crazy clutch shot. People forget that. So Steph Curry, again, 35, 36, 37. He's up there in age. Still got to put
Mhm.
some respect on his name.
Yeah. That was your 4th or 5th?
That was my
That
fourth
was
year.
4th? Okay.
Mhm.
I'm trying to figure out who your top 3. I know who's 2 of the top 3, but I can't figure out who that 3rd guy is yet. But anyways, my 4th is Tyrese Maxey. He 27 and a half points a game, 6 assists, almost 2 steals a game. He's also super fast. Now Philly has had a awful year, and I know I have been critical, right? I said with Trey Young, I said with Curry, I said with Kyrie, like the team aspect, right? The Sixers have been awful, right? They've had so many injuries between Embiid, Paul George, Jared McCain. But Maxey's been the most durable throughout it. He has played 46 games, which I mean he hasn't missed 10 games yet, which I thought he had missed a lot, but he hasn't. He's been keeping them afloat. I think Philly is close to the 10 seed now. I'm not sure. I think they're around 11 or 10. They're trying to get themselves back into playing, which obviously isn't where you want to be. But with the season they had, that is the best case scenario. And Tyrese Maxey is, I mean, not doing it by himself, of course, because he has an MVP on his team, and even Paul George sometimes has a good game here and there, I guess. But I mean, yeah, he's my 4th best, and it's I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite since with the team things because they've been a bad team too, but yeah, he's my 4th. So
Okay. Number 3 for me, I got Kyrie Irving of the Dallas Mavericks.
oh,
24 points per game. Mr. Harlem Shake himself. He will dance you out your boots. Arguably the best handle in the game we've ever seen. You know, he was a little bit older, but people forget Kyrie Irving hit that clutch shot back in 2016 against the Golden State Warriors. Kyrie Irving, when you need a bucket, he is there. He could get
Mr.
to the
Reliable.
basket. Mr. Reliable. He's 6'1", 6'2", not the tallest, not the strongest, but he always finds his way to get in the paint. And he's very crafty, very shifty. Strong finish, can finish with either hand. Never seen somebody like it. And again, now with Luka being no longer there,
Hmm.
that is Kyrie Irving's franchise. We're gonna
Yeah.
see if he's able to carry the franchise on his back. Because remember, he thought that he was that guy in Cleveland, but when LeBron James returned a second time, that didn't mesh. He said, "Okay, I want to go to Boston." He went to Boston. Jason
Yep.
Tatum was clearly going to be the guy. That didn't mesh. He's like, you know what? I'll play second fiddle. Goes to Brooklyn with KD. That didn't work out. So now he's in a place where he's happy. He's playing with joy. His main focus is basketball. And I, being a huge Kyrie Irving fan, I'm happy to see it. You know, obviously all the stuff that he's been through off the court with all that drama, I thought a lot of it was just media implicated, media manipulation. But seeing him just say, you know what, whatever I say, they're gonna take it out of terms. He's just playing basketball and he seems at peace. But again, question mark with Kyrie, can he lead a team to the promised land? Because yes, he was in the finals last year. I mean, obviously because him and Luka were the reason. But Luka Doncic is no longer wearing a blue and white in Dallas. He's the guy. Him and AD are the guy. And with Anthony Davis being out for the next 2-3 weeks, we're gonna see how much Kyrie Irving can lead a team and hopefully get that Mavs into a solid position for when the playoffs come around. But I got Kyrie Irving number 3.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, all right. My 3rd, I have Damian Lillard here.
Okay.
He's had a better season than what he was doing last year, like we said. Last year, I mean, it's around the same points and stuff, but he was shot about 35% from 3 last year. He's up to 38 on 9 attempts, 45% from the field goal. And I mean, the Bucks are getting back into it. I think they're a 5th seed right now, 5th or 4th seed right now. And he's been a reason why, like a really big reason, because like, Giannis has missed some time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I believe he's out tonight when they play, but I mean, yeah, Giannis has missed time. He's really been he's really picked it up for Milwaukee when again he didn't look the most comfortable. That pairing of Giannis and Dame was like, is it gonna mesh as well as we thought it would? Because the crazy perimeter scoring that Dame gives you with his playmaking, and then obviously the dominant force that Giannis
Mhm.
is that it didn't look like it was working that well, and they got eliminated in the first round. Giannis was hurt, Dame got hurt, but yeah, he has had a great resurgence, and he's my number three.
Solid, solid. I like Dame. I like Dame. All right. Oh, so we get to the top two.
I think we might have the same top two. I'm just saying,
Okay,
but
we probably you probably
probably
saw
do.
my list. But number two, I'm gonna have to go with the point guard out of the very own New York City, wearing the orange and blue, Jalen Brunson, man.
Mhm.
26 points per game, averaging about almost 8 assists a game, just
Mhm.
under one steal. But this guy again, you want to talk about a player who has blossomed before our very eyes, going from
Mhm.
Dallas to the Knicks. That is him. You know, when he got that $118 million contract from the Knicks, people were like, why are you giving that much money to Jalen Brunson? You know, he's not that good. And guess what? He turned out to be a bargain for the Knicks. A
Yeah,
bargain. And he gave the Knicks another bargain. He could have signed what? A very big
lot
max
more,
contract. A
over a
lot
hundred
more. And
million.
he for like what 100 and some change. So he's
Yeah,
due, you know, for a big
for a
extension couple
bag.
years when he decides to opt out. Yeah, huge bag. But he's shooting around just under 40% from three. Jalen Brunson again. What he
Mm.
is doing for the Knicks, that fan base has life again. It's ravaged. The Knicks right now are playing good basketball, great basketball actually, and adding alongside Carl Anthony Towns was able to unlock that pick and roll game. That was the only thing missing. We know Brunson could get to the rim. We know he can shoot. Only thing is a little bit his size. He's probably like 6'6'1". But
Yeah.
again, him balling all star, giving the New York fans life. He is right now seen as a king in New
Yeah.
York, and his numbers are backing it up. So Jalen Brunson right now is number 2 point guard on my list.
Yeah, agree. Yep, Brunson number two. I mean, I think by the time he's done with his time, whether he retires there or he moves on to his next team, with what he's done for New York, obviously they haven't won a ring yet. Who they might not, but he might be a top 5 to 10 Nick when he's
Yeah,
done. Like
yeah.
I mean, based off of literally like two years, 2.5 years, just from what he has done for them, right? Giving up around 100 mil, so they could make moves. Obviously, they signed OG to like 40 mil a year for like 5 years. They brought
Mhm.
Cat in, who's making I think 50-ish million. They are one of the most versatile teams in the league, right? With their defensive presence of OG, McHale, Josh Hart. Again, the 1 in 5. Cat's not the best interior defender by any means. And Jalen Brunson isn't the greatest defender either. Now, his size is it sucks, but he is a stockier, he has a stocky frame to where
Mhm.
he isn't necessarily going to get taken advantage of if like a 6'6" wing is in the paint on him. He can hold his ground a little. He's not going vertical for vertical blocking you or anything like
Mhm.
that, but he's not just going to get bullied by someone that's a little bit bigger than him. Now, obviously, you throw a center, a forward on him like that, then it's a different story. But yeah, with what he's brought back to the Knicks, it's well deserved for him to be second. And
Yeah.
now, who is the best point guard in the league?
I think we both got the same name. Obviously is that
MVP
guy from
probably.
Oklahoma, Shea Gilgeous, favorite to win
Yeah.
MVP this year, averaging 32 and a half points per game. He's played 53 games, getting 6.5 assists, 6 assists, excuse me, almost 2 steals a game, averaging a block, shooting 52% from the field and 36% from three. Listen, Shea, I believe, should have won MVP last year. They gave it to Jokic, but he came back on a and said, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that you guys give it to me. I'm gonna give you guys no other alternative but to give me the MVP. Oklahoma City Thunder right now, the best record in the entire NBA, number one
Mhm.
in the West. They're the favorites to come out the West.
Mhm.
But the only thing about them is that they're young, but they address their needs in all season with their defense, getting Hartenstein, getting Caruso. But Shea right now, there isn't a thing that he can't do. He's got a handle.
Yeah.
He's strong. He's skinny. He's strong. He can post you up. He can back you down. And he's starting to add that 3 point shot to his game as well. And he can play defense. He's an all around two-way point
Mhm.
guard. And he's tall enough that he could play the three and even the four, especially now with the positionless NBA. So Shea, I'll say my opinion right now, about it looks like both our opinions, is the best
Mhm.
point guard in today's NBA.
Yeah, I mean, though the steal, like we said earlier, so with some of these guys that get the steals and stuff, it's kind of hard to gauge when you're the head-on guy, and sometimes you just get steals by being there and not necessarily defending. Shea is a good defender. Shea is a good defender. He could definitely make an all defensive like second team or something.
Mhm,
If he had, I don't, he hasn't, but I feel he definitely could with what he does and with OKC being, I believe, the best defense close to of all time or of all time as of right now. Will they end that way? Who knows? But I mean, we're over halfway into the year and they're still holding that up. Now, granted, that is not just him. That's J Dub. That's Lou Dort. That's
mhm,
Caruso. That's Hartenstein. That's the little bit we've seen of Chet as well. But yeah, I mean, and he's shooting 58% from the 2 point range. I mean, in the mid range, I mean, even if you're there, it's probably going in. He is shooting 36% from three, like we said, improved on almost 6 attempts a game, which means
mhm,
he's making about two a game, which is great. I mean, averaging the most points in the league, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. I mean, he's definitely my vote for MVP, even though Jokic could, of course, win it again. But
yeah,
Shea is my MVP for sure, and my
yeah,
best point guard in the league.
yeah, yeah. So we pretty much got pretty similar list besides few names being higher or
A little
lower.
bit, yeah. We had a
Yeah.
little bit. I had Kyrie 9. I think you said you had Kyrie 3. I had
Mhm.
Dame 3. You had Dame a little bit lower too. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
Dame
but
five.
the bottom end of the list and the top end was pretty similar. My struggle was really that like 4 through 7 range of point guards because at that point it's like, do you like Garland more than Curry? Do you like Cade more than Maxi or just guys around that area? So
Mhm,
but now what I want to ask you is who, off the top of your head, without really thinking too much before we get into this, how
mhm.
many superstars would you say are in today's game? Not all stars, not, you know, whatever, currently in today's league, just off the top of your head, about what would you guess for a superstar? How many superstars there are currently?
So a specific number.
Just like off the top of your head, if you had to guess how many you would say are I'm gonna ask you names and we'll go down the
Okay.
list. But if you were to just say like my number would probably be around 8 or so, maybe currently that
Yeah,
are superstars.
superstars like players who are untouchable. Like
However
you
you
would
want
have
to
to.
interpret it. We'll see when
You,
I ask you
you
these
would have
names.
like if they say, "Hey, you want out," you have to get at least like 6, 7 first-round draft picks for them in a whole mountain.
However you want to interpret it. We'll see how you
Okay.
interpret it when I ask you some names. But
Okay.
so we'll start off with more of the obvious ones. Jokic,
Oh, easy superstar. Yeah, no
yes.
doubt.
Giannis,
Yeah,
yes.
superstar, no doubt.
Shea,
Yeah, superstar, no
yeah.
doubt.
Tatum,
Yeah, he's a superstar in my
okay,
opinion.
I
Yeah.
agree. Luca, I mean,
Yeah.
hey,
I
the
mean,
untouchable
what
thing
happened?
doesn't the
Look,
untouchable thing doesn't
yeah.
necessarily matter, but yes, Luca is for sure a superstar.
Mhm.
Um, Jalen Brunson. Now, before you answer this, I want to say to me, right, there's all stars, which are like the guys that like they've made a few all-star appearances, but they're not the superstar level. And then there's like the tier of guys that are all-stars transitioning their way to maybe being a superstar. Um, and I feel like that's maybe where Brunson lies. I don't think he has
Yeah.
the superstar title yet. But I mean, it's up to you. I mean, Jalen Brunson. What do you think? Is he a
The
superstar for you currently?
the only thing, if Jalen Brunson were to lead the Knicks into the finals, he will have
Okay.
reached superstar
Okay.
status.
So he's
That's the
close.
only he's very, very close. He's
Okay.
literally all he has to do is just put his finger up through the glass ceiling and he's
Okay.
there. That's the only thing he
Okay.
has to do. Have the Knicks make a deep playoff run, and he has to be the
Okay.
reason why.
All right. We got um LeBron. Is LeBron still a superstar?
Oh yeah, yeah, easily. Yeah.
Okay.
Marketable. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I say he is. I say
I
he
do
is.
too. I think he got there last year.
Yeah.
I think he was one of those guys last year where it was like he might not be there yet, but so yes, I agree. I think he is in there as well. Sabonis.
No. Sabonis is
No.
he
Okay.
no. He's an all-star, but not
He's
superstar.
an
Maybe because
all-star.
they
Okay.
don't put Sacramento Kings games on national television that much. So we don't really see
Okay.
how he is, but Sabonis is a dog.
Okay. Cat.
No, he's an all-star. I wouldn't say superstar.
Yeah, I agree. Cade.
No, no, K Cunningham, no.
Not yet. No. Do you think
Let's
he
let him
could?
build a track record first.
Do you think he
He
could?
he could. He has the potential.
You
This
think
was
so?
the first year he broke out, but let's let him build, a track record, a resume.
Okay. Wemby.
On his way. On his way. Wemby was well on his
Okay.
way. Yeah, because again, I don't, we can't just be throwing out superstar titles to
Right.
a guy who's second
No,
year in the
no
league.
playoffs. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Playoffs does have a
yeah,
factor here.
yeah.
But I didn't. Is he the one exception? Is he? It's something that I was wondering where we were going with
Well,
that.
because the NBA they're trying to make him the face of the league, so
Right.
that's
Right.
why
Yes.
yeah.
So, Devin Booker.
Devin Booker was a superstar in my opinion because he
Okay.
led the Phoenix Suns to the 2021 NBA Finals.
Okay.
But
And
then
he
after
still
that,
is.
I think he's kind of regressed a little bit, mainly this year because again his numbers
He
this
has had
year,
a down year.
he has had a down year. But
All right. So we'll say no for now.
I'll say it. No, I'll say it because you can't
Okay.
say leading your team to the NBA Finals. So I say yes, he is just because of that accomplishment. That's a hard thing to do.
Okay. Donovan Mitchell.
He's an all-star, not a superstar. No,
Okay.
he's
Okay.
not.
Trey Young.
Trayon is marketable superstar wise, but not much success on the court. So I would,
Right. We had the one conference finals, but
yeah,
other than that, a
no,
couple
I
eight
wouldn't say,
seeds.
yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't say no,
Um, Halliburton. No, right. I would say no.
no, no,
Um, De'Aaron Fox. I just think an all-star for now,
yeah,
right?
all star now, yeah, all star.
This is an interesting one for me. I wonder where your head. Anthony Davis. Is he a
Anthony,
superstar still, or
yes,
okay, I
yes,
agree.
he's a superstar. Yeah,
Okay. Tyrese Maxey.
he's a budding superstar.
He's
He a
close.
budding super. He's close. And now hold on,
Okay.
let me just differ because people are gonna say, well, I left Tyrese Maxey, out my top 10, point guard list that we
Uh-huh.
were doing. The only reason why I left him out because again, you mentioned it, the Philadelphia 76ers, they're awful this year.
Yeah.
They are awful, and it's not Tyrese Maxey's fault
Okay. All right.
whatsoever. But
I agree.
your numbers, what you're doing on
Mhm.
court has to translate to wins in some way, shape, or form. That's the only reason why.
Okay. Is Damian Lillard still a superstar?
That's tough. Damian Lillard.
We're getting into some hard ones.
Yeah. I'm gonna say yes because of again, he was in Portland, not a lot of national airtime. But when you seen Damian Lillard play, there's some nights where he's like the best player on the court, where he could just light it up. So I would say Damian, yes, and he's in a little bit bigger market in Milwaukee. I say yes, and he clutchness, does have to add into your superstardomness. So I say, yeah, Dame is a superstar. That was tough.
Okay. Is Durant?
Oh yeah, Durant's still a superstar. Yeah, Durant, yeah, superstar.
Okay. Curry,
Yes, Curry's still a superstar. Yeah.
Jalen Brown.
I'm gonna say yes because
Okay.
he was the Finals MVP. He
Okay.
outplayed Jason Tatum, and I said Jason Tatum is a superstar. You can't say, well, Jalen Brown is not when he outplayed him in the finals. And I think he was what wasn't he the Eastern Conference Finals MVP as well too, or they gave that to Tatum?
Yeah, he was this year, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, he was a big reason why Boston won last year. So yes, Jalen Brown, in my opinion, is a superstar.
Okay. Kyrie.
Yes, Kyrie's a super in my
Wow,
opinion.
okay.
Yeah,
All right. Joel Embiid.
I would say yeah, but
Healthy. We're talking
health
about
is
these
a
guys being
yes.
healthy
Yeah.
currently.
Oh, when he's healthy, yes. When he is healthy, yes. But he hasn't been healthy in so long, so
Okay.
it's a question mark. When he's healthy, yes, he is.
All right. And now we're gonna get to a lot of guys that probably aren't, but they're, I just want to hear. Jimmy Butler.
Mm.
Mm, okay.
Jimmy Butler did lead the Heat to two NBA Finals.
But we're talking is he a current
Is he a
superstar?
current right now? No, not now. The
Okay.
whole drama with Miami, and again, he's the second option.
Okay.
But yeah,
Ja.
damn, Ja ain't really have a good year. I'm gonna say yes. He was on it again before Van Wemby. They were trying to make Ja the face of the league as well too.
He's one of the guys that are in the middle. Like he
Yeah,
could get there. So
I think yeah,
um
yeah.
um Jaren, probably not.
No, Jared, no,
Zion.
no. Too much injury history. Yeah,
Okay.
no. He was on
Paolo.
his way though. Paolo Ben. Oh no, too soon. Yeah, he needs more on his resume.
I think he's
But
close. I think he's a
he
lot
he
closer
yeah
than
he could
some
get there.
think.
Oh yeah,
Um,
he could definitely get there.
Scotty Barnes. I just
No,
don't think he's there.
no.
LaMelo.
If LaMelo Ball was in a bigger market, then yes. If he was in a bigger market, like if he was playing on the Knicks
So
or the
he's
Lakers,
one of the guys in the middle.
yeah, he's one of the guys in the middle. Yeah, because again, you don't really see him play that
Okay.
much because they ain't playing Hornets games on ESPN or TNT.
Okay. And then I know you like Sangoon. Are you putting Sangoon there?
No. Too young. You got to
I
do
was
something in the playoffs. No.
and then any of the Clippers guys, Harden or Kawhi? Any more? Currently, remember, currently.
Right now, no.
Okay.
Harden is not a superstar in my opinion. He's a very great player, but no. And then Kawhi injury history, no Clippers players are superstars.
All right. So with those were all the names I had. I believe those were close to the pretty much all the guys that could be in that conversation. I even gave some injured guys. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. You had 15 superstars that you said.
Okay.
Um, and then you had 1, 2, 3, 4 guys who are close, like they could get there. Between Tyrese, or sorry, 5. You had Brunson, Wemby, Maxi, Ja, and Lamelo, and then the rest of
Okay.
those guys we agreed on to be now. But
Who did
and
you
then
think were superstars out the list? Real quick.
I would say, hold on a minute. So right, Jokic, Giannis, Shea, Tatum, and Luca, 100%. I do still think Katie, Curry, and LeBron are. I do think AD is still. Um, Embiid is still a superstar when he is healthy, and
Mhm.
then I think Anthony Edwards So that would be 11 of the 15 you said.
Okay, all right. So pretty much
I
same
don't I
same.
would the only ones I would I don't think Lillard is I don't think Lillard or Kyrie would be a superstar for me anymore. And
Mm,
then I don't have Booker or Brown as superstars, I don't think.
mm, okay, okay.
Just because 'cause they've had some rough years, and again, Brown, I don't even know if I would necessarily say I think he might be one of those close guys for me, but,
Mm-hmm.
we were pretty, I agreed with most of them. You just had a couple more guys, that I
Okay.
didn't.
Mm,
Um, and then the last thing we're gonna do is a new thing where I'm going to ask you, to see how many, players you can name.
oh, here we
And
go.
this week, as you see, we're going with the Chicago Bulls.
Oh crap. Okay.
So I didn't tell you this before because I didn't want you thinking about it beforehand. I wanted you to have your minute to
Okay.
where just have it just so you can have a minute. Let me go to their roster and let me pull out a timer and you're just gonna rattle off names for me. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Chicago Bulls. All right, I'm ready. Let's get
All
it.
right. Three, two, one, go.
Okay. Obviously, Lonzo Ball, Buzels, Josh Giddey, Vucevic, Nikola Vucevic, Kobe White,
Mhm.
Ayo Dusamu or Ayo Dusamu,
Yep.
uh, Patrick Williams. Yeah, they didn't trade. They just traded for Kevin Hurd, so he's on the team.
Okay.
Javon Carter. I believe Chris. Is it Chris Durante?
Dorte. I'll give
Um,
you it.
Durante. Okay. Oh, bald guy. He used to play for the Lakers. Bald. Bald. Oh, Talon. THT. Talon Horton Tucker. Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
25 seconds left.
I think he used to play for the Pacers. Uh, Jalen Smith. I think Jalen
Okay.
Smith. Uh, um, uh, Dalen Terry. Right. Terry. I know there's a
Mhm.
Terry that plays.
Okay.
Dalen Terry.
Mhm.
Phillips. Julian Phillips.
Yep.
Right? And then
Yep.
I don't know anybody else. I think that's everybody.
That was pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
All right. All right.
so I'm just gonna make sure. Um, yeah, I think everyone you said is Kevin Herter on this team? Yes, Kevin Herter is. Yeah. You got you got 14. You beat your net
Woo!
score of 13 from
Damn, really? Oh, and I'm a
it.
Nets fan. That's a disgrace.
So I would say let's see, what was a name that you missed? You got that. Zealous, you got Lonzo, you got Julian Phillips. They just acquired Zach Collins from San
Oh
Antonio
shit.
as
Oh, I didn't even
well.
know that. Okay.
Um,
Oh
EJ
yeah.
Liddell,
Oh, that Kevin Herter trade. That's
and
right.
Trey Jones from the Spurs as well.
Okay. Okay. I didn't
So
know they were part of that trade. Yeah,
you
you're
know,
right.
I mean, Trey Jones and Zach Collins are really the only ones that they were just acquired. So that was pretty good. So
Let's
again, the
go.
players you got Lonzo, Buzelis, Giddy, Vucevic, Kobe White, Io, Patrick Williams, Kevin Herter, Chris Dorte. Oh, actually, is he on here? Oh, I
Is it
don't
on
see
there?
the roster, so I might have to check that one.
Oh,
Horton
okay.
Tucker is on here.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Smith, Dalen Terry, and then yeah, Julian Phillips. What team does Chris Dorte play for?
I thought he played for the
Maybe
Bulls. I
maybe
know he
that's
used to play for the Pacers.
he. Oh, did he get I think he did get moved, but was did he go to the Kings or something? Was he
Oh,
or did he come from there? He is is he not on a team? Oh no, it says he's on Chicago.
oh, okay.
Okay. It
He
doesn't
probably
have it
maybe a G League player.
doesn't have him in his bio, so maybe. But yeah, Bulls, yeah, 17 games this year. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, all right, you got 14. So that
Let's
was
go.
Good job. You beat your net score. Don't know how that's possible. Do you watch a lot of Bulls and you're hiding something from us, or
Nah, nah, man. I mean, sometimes I be Bulls highlights, especially with Lonzo Ball. I'm like, oh, Kobe Bryant.
Chris
But
Duarte?
yeah, that's
I don't think I would have got Chris Duarte or Kevin Herter. I would have forgot about Kevin Herter completely. And Chris Duarte, I don't think I would have got either. But so those are some good ones. But
because I knew Duarte did play for the Pacers last year. That's the only
he
reason why I remember him.
played for the
Right.
Kings last
Oh,
year and
okay. Oh,
Pacers
okay.
his first 2 years.
Oh, okay. So,
So that's why I remembered the Kings, because he came from Sacramento in the
gotcha.
the Levine trade and all that.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
Gotcha.
I think that's it. That's all we got.
All right.
We went through our top 10 point guards. Next week we'll do our shooting guards,
Ooh,
our top 10
let's go.
shooting guards, and we will just continue on with that trend. We'll go through each position, each week. So next week we'll come back with our currently top 10 shooting guards, and shooting guards and small forwards are going to be a rough position, because there's a lot of like some
Yeah.
players don't play shooting guard anymore, or if you're a guard, a lot of the guards are just point guards, that play shooting guard. So
Mm-hmm.
shooting guards is going to not have the names of the point guards by any means, but it's a lot more of lower tier all-stars or role players, other than like the main guys like Edwards, Booker, guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll come back with that next week.
All right. Yeah, man. Can't wait. Can't wait for that. That's gonna be shooting guard is definitely gonna be a tough one. But
Mhm.
I think we'll do good. We like I said, we had pretty similar names and spots on our
Yeah,
list. So yeah, should be good. Again, don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel at Hoops All In. Follow us on Instagram at Hoops All In. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, iHeartRadio, wherever you stream your weekly podcast. We are on there. So thanks again, guys, for tuning into another episode of Hoops All In. I'm always Ross Francois, Keith Bazin. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Keith's YouTube channel as well. I believe it's Keith HAI, Keith Hoops
it
All
is.
In. So he does his own solo thing as part of the channel. So Keith is doing some great work over there. Subscribe to him if you want to get instant reaction to breaking news, trades, injuries, games. That is the place to go. So again, Ross Francois, Keith Bazin, signing off. We'll be back next time for another episode of Hoops All In.